Okay, so the story behind this picture is that back in '98, I was actually a famous movie actor, right? I starred in movies like Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Twin Peaks, Firewalk with. I was a really famous movie actor. Anyways, and I was going to the red carpet because I was going to a movie premiere. I can't remember which one, but I met Seth Rogan, right? And basically he came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of you." You know, he does this stupid fucking laugh, whatever. He comes up to me in this stupid ass gray suit with black tie, white. Yeah, that's fine. And he's like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of your stuff." I'm like, "Hey, Seth Rogan, thanks. I really like you on." And I can't remember what the fuck I've seen him on. I barely know the guy. But anyways, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a big fan of your stuff too. It's like, oh, that's so cool. We should hang out sometime. And I'm like, yeah. So a couple weeks pass. I run into him again, and he's like, oh man, it's so cool. It was at a gas station. Man, it's so cool. I ran into you again. I was like, yeah, and I was going to pay for the snacks I was getting at the gas station, and suddenly the cashier just kind of looked at me and he gave me this weird expression, and at first I thought, since I'm world famous, that he's just surprised to see me, but he just wouldn't stop staring at me, and I was really confused. And I looked at Seth Rogen, and it was fine. He was moving around, he could see me, I could talk to him, but I looked at the guy behind Seth Rogen waiting in line, and he was frozen too. Like, I went up to him, I poked him around a little bit, but he wouldn't budge a muscle. Anyways, I we went outside and everything was frozen. It's like time froze. It's like every single fucking indie superhero film or whatever. And we were both kind of scared. So we kind of walked around for a little bit to make sure this wasn't a prank, and we headed into town in New York City. We headed to town, and everything was frozen. The cars, the people, the hot dog stands, the homeless guys, the drug dealers, the gay guys getting head behind the dumpster, everybody. And yeah, we were really confused, but we saw one of the sewer headings, or the sewer holes that lead into the sewer in like the middle of the street. I don't know what they're called, but they lead into the sewer. We noticed that was open, but it was in the middle of a busy street, and usually people don't really leave that open. And yeah, we were really, so just by sheer curiosity, we went down there. It smelled like shit. It looked like shit. It was shit. It was terrible. God, it was awful. But we could see a light down there. So we, the famous saying, "Go to the light." It's not a good idea. Don't do it, and you'll learn that by the story. But anyways, we head down to see the light, and lo and behold, it's fucking Seth Rogen. Me and Seth Rogen are really confused because there's another Seth Rogen, and instead of wearing a gray suit with a black tie, he's wearing a white suit with a black tie. And me and Seth Rogen one, the original Seth Rogen, are so confused. It's like, why the fuck is there a third Seth Rogen? But he comes up to us and he's like, you have been chosen, and we have no idea who the fuck he's talking to. He's looking at neither of us. He looks blind. He's not looking at us. He says, "You've been chosen," and both of us at the same time say, "Who are you talking to?" But chosen for what? And he says, "You," but he doesn't fucking point to anyone. He's just looking in the opposite direction of both of us. He's just looking straight down the middle. He's not fucking looking at anybody. But we say, you're not looking at anyone, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and he pointed at me. He pointed at me, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I chosen for? I'm just a famous movie actor I'm just a sexy movie actor. And he was like, "You've been chosen because you are so talented that we need you for the next Heaven movie." I'm like, what the fuck? Well, what the hell is a Heaven movie? And I ask him, but I don't use the profanity because I assume he's a fucking angel from the heavens. So I'm like, well, what's a Heaven movie? And he's like, you're fucking stupid. And he actually says fucking, and I'm like, whoa, aren't you from heaven? And he's like, yeah, but it's chill up there. You can cuss if you want to. It doesn't matter. "Oh, well, what's a heaven movie?" And he's like, "Well, it's a movie from heaven. You know, it's a movie that we make from heaven. It's the best movie that you can ever watch. It's in all languages. It's in the It's in the universal language of heaven, and it's so everyone can understand. The details, the small details, don't matter. But anyways, you know, I'm like, well, what's the movie? And he said it's this car movie. It's like Cars, but heaven. It's heaven. It's the heaven version of Cars. And at this point, I'm just so goddamn confused. I just take it. I don't say anything. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Time has stopped. We go into a sewer. There's just Angel Seth Rogan, and I'm just like, okay, okay. You know what? Fuck it. I'll be in your goddamn heaven car movie. I turn around to Seth Rogan, and I notice that there's nothing around him. There's literally nothing. It's literally like someone took a picture of him or a video of him, like rotoscoped him out and put him on a green screen and then chroma keyed him. There was nothing there, and I was so confused. I had to take a picture, and I took that picture, and I said, Seth, it's been a pleasure knowing you. It's sorry. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I I hope I never see you in anything again. And I leave and I go to heaven, and that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. It's almost 7 minutes. Anyways, that's the story behind the Seth Rogen picture. Thank you for listening. I'll see you later. Bye bye.